topic that has brought many of you out tonight is the subject of homosexuality, the Torah, and grace. If you've sat under my teaching for a long time, you know that these kinds of topics are not ordinary fare for me. I prefer delving into biblical studies, and of course this is one. But I've agreed to teach on this subject due to a number of requests that I have received, and due to the current volatility, even vituperative debate that surrounds this subject of homosexuality. It's a very complex and extensive phenomenon. We can look at it from many points of view, from the point of view of God, from the point of view of an individual, from the point of view of society, of the church, and I hope in some way to touch upon all those subjects in our study. I want to acknowledge at the very beginning that rancorous and in some cases raucous debate rages over this issue. My purpose here tonight is not to engage in the debate, but to engage in a study of the issue from a biblical and a Hebraic point of view. It's a debate that has created a great cultural divide between the elite on the one hand and popular opinion on the other. It's complex and it's a compelling issue. I do not wish to put anybody down. I do wish to lift up the Lord and to acknowledge His sovereignty as well as His mercy and justice. What I'm going to attempt to accomplish for you in our study is the following. I want to look at homosexuality as it existed in pagan societies and cultures of old, including Greece and Rome. And I want to contrast that with what is the clear, distinctive moral values of the biblical text and Judaism. I want to look at specific text in both testaments, the Old Testament and the New Testament, that relate to homosexuality. I want to look at what they say and what others say that they say. I want to look and try to derive from our study principles that can guide our understanding of this issue as members of the kingdom of God. I want to look at it from a societal point of view. Homosexuality in the moral order, if you will. What are the considerations and implications of this issue for our society and indeed for our civilization? And finally, I want to ask the question, is there any good news in this matter? How does grace come to bear in the issue of homosexuality? And what should the response of the church be? These, in broad strokes, are some of the issues that I hope to address in our study. Let me set the stage for you by clarifying the context of this study. I've drawn upon many sources, some of which I will name, others for simplicity's sake I won't. But in reading a book by John Stott, I was struck with some issues, some perspectives that I want to use as the basis of our study. Preliminarily, I want to make three statements that will frame the whole approach of what we're going to be doing here. First of all, we must acknowledge when we come to this issue that we are all human beings. We all bear the image of a God who created us, and that image has been distorted and twisted by our fallen sinful nature. Strictly speaking, it's not accurate nor biblical, I think, to speak of people as homosexuals or heterosexuals, as gays, as queers. We're talking about people, not freaks. We're talking about people, some of whom have homosexual tendencies.